So here we are at the start of the second half of our day. We've chosen another mission to go on with the rest of our pilots and aircraft. We're going after the artillery unit this time, and I've taken the liberty of just kind of going through some of the setup. So our special condition persists. We'll still have an extra loiter turn plus whatever our scout should give us. We'd already allocated our pilots and aircraft and our scouts. So now we are in the arm aircraft phase. So I've gone ahead and armed our aircraft. But the thing to know in this particular case is that because we're attacking someone in the enemy transit band, our weight is -2. So we actually had to carry a little bit less this time. I could have paid another SO point for basically having extra fuel and being able to ignore the weight issue, but I didn't have enough special option points to do that. I didn't want to go down to 0. So I've allocated our weapons, and the A-10 has some very exciting bombs to drop on everyone, as well as the LAUs that we liked before, and the AIMs. And one air-to-air missile just in case. With everybody else, we went with some familiar weapons that you guys should recognize, so the LAUs and the AGMs. And my poor Kerber only had 6 points to begin with and now -2, so we're just going with the LAUs and hoping for the best for him. Freak may have to get off the field pretty quick. So I've armed my aircraft. I actually forgot to do a mission event, so it's a good thing I'm going through this. So now my mission event target bound is going to be low level approach. Enemy units cannot attack during the first loiter turn. Oh, that's excellent. So basically we get a free turn to get in here and do some damage, which makes me really happy. We've placed our terrain hexes, we've placed our enemy units. We've not yet placed our friendly aircraft. But just to go over the units, so we have some infantry that can do light damage and they have 1 range, so I have to watch out for them. But more frighteningly, we have these SAM chits down here that do 2 heavy damage and have a range of 3, and they're pretty well spread out to where they cover most of this board. So we are going to have to get in there and get rid of those as a priority. Then the infantry will be important, and then after that we can go for these high VP Scuds and SPAs. All right, so let's go ahead and get our pilots out here. So we need to think about where we want to put them. They can enter from wherever they want along the edges. They don't have to come in on the same hex. And we know from our low-level approach condition that enemy units can't attack during the first loiter turn. So I'm kind of tempted to take the aggressive approach and put somebody right in here to try to take care of this and the infantry. I think that's what we're going to do. Let's go ahead and pop Pirate right on in here. Let's go. So Pirate's going to come in off this edge. So let's say that he's flown in on this hex and that his intention, because he has to move a speed of 1 or 2. I messed up last time. I thought that was the cover up. It's the A-10. He is going to come in here and let's put him going this direction. We're going to go aggressive. Low altitude, but aggressive. And we're going to fly right at this other unit. So basically what's going on is that Pirate's a fast pilot. So I know that I have a chance to attack this and this before they have a chance to get at him. So I think I'm going to stick him in there and see how it goes. So now we're to put Judge. Again, we know that nobody can attack on that first turn. So let's go ahead and have Judge come in over here. That way he can do some cleanup if Pirate misses. Yeah, let's do that. And then let's have Freak come in from a different angle. Let's have Freak kind of pop in. All right, so now that we've placed our friendly aircraft, let's go ahead and do the scout success check. Hopefully it'll get us some extra turns and, not get lost. All right, so we rolled a 6, and that is going to mean that we get +2 turns. So it could be a lot worse. Our loiter turns are going up to 8. So again, 5 is the base. We got a 6th one because of our special condition. And then we got 2 more for the scout roll for a total of 8 loiter turns. So we've placed our loiter counter, and now we are going into battlefield resolution. Everybody came onto the field in low altitude, so we will not be drawing any pop-up counters. So let's see what we get with our enemy cover roll. All right, we got a 5, which has destroyed units in hex. We've not destroyed any units yet, so no one will be going into cover. Now it's time for fast pilots to do their thing. And so we do have 1 fast pilot this time. That's going to be our buddy Pirate, who is fast. Pirate is piloting an A-10, so he's going to move 1 or 2 on each turn, but we can attack before we move. So what I'm planning to do is go ahead and drop some missiles on this hex and then move 1 to kind of move towards this other hex that has a SAM in it. So my goal is to get rid of these heavy damage, long range guys so that we can have an easier time cleaning up this field. Hopefully it'll work out. All right, so looking at Pirate's weapons, I want to feel sure that we're going to get that SAM, but I also want to save some stuff. So I have to decide how I want to portion it all out. Let's see. Let's say that Pirate's going to drop 2 of these MK20 bombs on the hex. So what's kind of interesting about these is that if you look at them closely, there's a 6 on them, which is the roll we have to hit, but it's in brackets. What that means is that you get to roll once for each unit in the hex, which means I get to roll twice for each missile to hope that I get in a hit. So wish me luck. Let's see how it goes. So let's go ahead and roll for the more dramatic target first. As long as I can get one of my rolls to be a 6 or higher, I'll be happy. All right, so we got a 10. Fantastic. So this thing got destroyed. And then let's go ahead and roll for the Scud using this missile. So again, this one I get to roll once for each target. So I rolled for the SAM and had success. I'm gonna roll for the Scud and see what I get. That was an 8. Okay, so that actually worked out great. I wasted a bomb, but that's fine with me. So these have both been thrown down in this hex. Pirate will leave some serious carnage in his wake, and he's gonna move. So we're gonna come... Ooh, so I'm gonna have to deal with some high altitude choices and some ridges soon. So I also need to be thinking about that as I go. But for now, I think what we're gonna do is we're gonna accept that Pirate's gonna pop into high altitude in a turn or so and hope for the best. But for now, he's gonna move this way. So our fast pilot is gone and normally would be moving into enemy attacks. However, with our low level approach mission condition, we know that enemy units cannot attack during the first loiter turn. So we all get a little bit of a break from enemy attacks just this once. So we got to do as much damage as we can to make sure that we continue to luck out. So Judge is piloting an Apache. He is going to get to do 0 or 1 moves on this turn, but I think he also is going to attack before he moves. Let's go ahead and try to wipe out this infantry and this SPA over here. So Judge does not have any of those sweet, sweet bombs that the A-10 was carrying, but we have some missiles that we know and like. Actually, I think what we're going to do is we're going to have Judge move now. Judge is going to move here. That way, I can use up my AGM 114s on this hex, because you can't do them at 0 range. You have a range of 2, but you have to be 1 or 2 hexes away in order to deploy them. So you only need a 4 for success. So Judge is going to go ahead and drop his more disposable weapons on these guys. So let's see what happens. We're going to roll once for the infantry first. All right, so it was a 6. So Judge does not actually have any modifiers, unlike the other pilots, so he actually has to roll the right number. But the good news is the infantry is out, which means that there's 1 less enemy shooting at us next round. And then let's see how we do against this SPA. Bummer. All right, so we only rolled a 3. We did not hit it. Oh, that stinks. Oh, that stinks. Okay, so what that means is that we missed our chance to hit this free and clear, and our weapon is gone. So the SPA is still around and kicking, and the infantry is gone. So the infantry can't hit us, but the thing is that we need to rack up a certain amount of victory points in this round regardless. So let's see what Freak is able to do for us. So I'm picking it from yesterday. I wasn't really thinking. Freak should start his movement here. So he's come onto this hex, and I want him to go in this direction. So just FYI. So Freak doesn't have as many missiles because of the weight restrictions. I think what he's going to do is we're going to fire 1 of our LAUs at the SPA over here. So this is the one where if I roll a 4, I'll hit. If I can roll a 7, I can keep the weapon. So fingers crossed. And then I'm going to fire another one at this infantry, so we can at least make some progress on our goals. Hopefully. He may run out of weapons pretty fast and end up hoping for some cannon fire, which would suck. And yeah, we'll see. The good news about Freak is that he does get a +1 to both his cannon and strike stat and his standoff, so we'll at least get a little bit of a modifier to our die rolls. So let's go ahead and take our first shot here at this SPA. Come on, 6 or better, 6 or better. Oh, yes. Okay, a 7. So we are in good shape. This missile will be kept because we hit our 7 threshold. So Freak will get to shoot it again, and the SPA is destroyed. Now we're going to roll for the infantry, and it'd be great if we could knock that out because, again, the less attacks on my guys, the better. So come on, Freak. Get a 6 or better, man. Oh, yes. A 9. That was lovely. We get to keep this missile as well. So Freak is going to get another productive turn, and the infantry is gone. All right, so now that Freak has done some attacking, he's going to move, and I want to move him here. So we're going to come towards the center of everything and kind of see what we can do. Because most of our enemies are kind of concentrated in this part of the board, and I'd really like to see a lot of progress in that area. So our slow pilots have all gone, and now we're going to adjust the loiter counter. So it's going to go down 1, and we have 7 turns left to take care of business. Right now business is good, but we'll see how it continues. So again, we are not going to draw any pop-up counters. We don't have anybody in high altitude, at least not yet. Pirate's going to have to pop up because he can't hover, unlike the helicopters, unfortunately. But we're not at that stage just yet. So let's do an enemy cover roll and see what happens with that. So we rolled a 2. If someone is in the same hex with an aircraft, they will go to cover. All right, so in some ways that is unfortunate because it means that the Scud is going to go to cover. However, it could be a lot worse because there is no cover for these guys to run to in this hex, and not in this hex either. Well, they're dead, but if they weren't, they still wouldn't be able to hide. So basically this place with these 3 enemies all concentrated in here, they can't go anywhere. We're actually in really, really good shape with that. So it was with some relief that I tell you that only 1 of our enemies managed to go to cover this time. Phew. All right, so now it's Pirate's turn. Pirate is not going to actually adjust his altitude just yet. We're going to wait until our next turn to keep everybody low and reduce pop-ups. But he will eventually have to move. He's going to move into this hex. So what I'm hoping is that we can do some damage first. So I think what's going to happen is, since I'm in this hex, what I want is, I think that Pirate needs to drop one of our bombs in here where we see if we can like hit multiple targets with that 1 missile. And then into this hex, we're going to go ahead and get risky. I have 3 LAUs in residence over here. So we're going to fire 1 at the SAM, 1 at the SPA. And we're going to see what we can get. So let's go ahead and roll for this bomb first. So we're going to go after the infantry, then the SPA, then the Scud. I need to roll a 6 or better on each of these in order to kill. Although, of course, Pirate does have a strike value of +1, so I actually only have to roll a 5. So 5 or higher. Infantry, let's see what we get. All right, a 9, so the infantry is dead. Now we're going to go after the SPA. A 5 +1 is 6, so this died. Excellent. And then the Scud, let's see, come on. A 5, also round up to a 6 with our bonus. Excellent, that was a successful bombing. I'm into it. All right, so now Pirate is looking at this hex before we move in. So we have 1 LAU launched at the SAM, 1 at the SPA. So I need a 4 to hit, a 7 to keep, or because of my +1 to stand off on Pirate. Pirate has some fairly good stats. What I'll need is a 3 to hit and a 6 to keep. So let's go for the SPA first. All right, so that was a 5, so we don't get to keep it, but it does hit. So we lost a weapon, but it could be a lot worse. All right, now let's hope for the best with the SAM. Come on, 6. 8, even better. Okay, fantastic. All right, so we do get to keep this LAU, and the SAM is dead. Excellent. So Pirate is going to finish his move. He's going to come here. We're going to have to pop into high altitude next turn, but we'll get to avoid 1 more drop pop-up counters phase before we do that, which is a good idea. All right, so now we're moving into enemy attacks. Fortunately, we have done some pretty serious damage to these enemies, so only 1 is actually going to attack anybody. And the enemy that's going to attack is our good friend up here, the infantry, who is within line of sight of Judge. So this infantry is going to be able to fire at Judge and do 1 light damage to him. So let's see what it's going to be. All right, so light damage, that's the yellow side. All right, so Judge drew 2 stress. So we're going to put that back in the cup. And we're going to give Judge 2 stress markers to mark that he's been stressed out a little bit. So we're just going to take poor old Judge's card right here and put 2 stress on him. The good news is that he does have 2 cool, so that should help him deal with his stress at the end of the mission. All right, there are actually no other enemies to attack because we did a good job of taking out the SAMs and the infantry. So now it's a matter of racking up as many victory points as we can and trying to get out of here. So we need to make sure that this battalion has 5 or less points worth of guys left on the board. And right now they are at 3, 6, 9, 12, 13, 15. So we have done a lot of damage, but we also have quite a ways to go. So we need to get efficient. I think what we're going to do is I'm going to have Judge shoot at this SPA over here and then move. We might have Pirate come around and kind of clean up and then have Freak try to take care of some of the stuff down here. Just kind of have the guys moving in circles so they can do some cleanup. I think that that makes sense. I think it does. Okay, so it's Judge's and Freak's turn to go because now we're moved on to slow pilots. They're going to stay low altitude. And I think Judge's first order of business is going to be to shoot one of his LAUs into this hex. Because he has line of sight to the SPA, we can go after it again. And then I think Judge should shoot his other missile in here. And the question is, should we go for the infantry or the Scud? The infantry is annoying because it attacks us, but the Scud is worth a lot more points. So, you know, we need to make sure that we are racking up the points here. You know, let's hope that Pirate has that under control. And we're going to shoot at the infantry and hope that we get it. So, Judge has no modifiers to his rolls. So he's going to have to roll pure successes. So it's 4 to hit, 7 to keep. Hopefully we'll be able to at least keep one of these missiles because otherwise Judge is going to be kind of useless next turn. Although I guess we can just start moving him off the field and let Freak and Pirate clean everything else up. So Judge is going to do his attacks from here. And then he's going to move into this hex. I might actually have him move this way and try to get the Scud. If we're going to have guys who are high altitude, I mean, he could come in here, get the Scud, and leave, which is a good path for him, I think. All right, so for now, let's do these attack rolls. I think Judge is going to go for the SPA over here first. Oh, a 10. Yes, beautiful. Okay, so we keep our missile, and the SPA is out. All right, so let's see if we can do anything about the infantry. I just need to roll a 4 to kill it. Oh, I rolled a 4. Okay, so I did not get the 7, so my missile is gone. I only have 1 left for Judge, but the infantry is out, which is good. So what I'm hoping is I'm going to move Judge here. He'll pop into high altitude next turn on his move, and then we're going to come in here, kill this thing, and then try to leave the scene, basically. I think that's the idea. Yeah, okay, so that's Judge's move done. Freak is now up. I think what we're going to do with him is that, so when an enemy is in cover, you can't attack them unless you're on the same hex as them. So Freak has to move this turn, but hopefully his LAU is going to hit the Scud on the way out. The question is, I have 2 LAU 61s. Should I just fire them both? Then, so here's my thought. I could fire both of the missiles at this thing, make sure it dies, right? And then I can just come up and get Freak off the board. I'm hoping that Pirate's going to take out at least one of the Scuds on the way out. And that actually, if that plan works, that ought to diminish this unit enough. So they have 12 points left right now, but it's only actually 4 hits. So if I can get 3 of them eliminated, then I'll win. So let's see if we can pull it off. All right, so Freak is just going to go ahead and fire both of these missiles, I think. So let's do both of our LAU 61s and just try to make sure. So Freak, because he has a +1 to his cannon/strike ability, only has to get a 3 or 6 to hit. Well, a 3 to hit, a 6 to keep. So let's see. Missile number 1 did hit. Good. We don't get to keep it, but it hit. So the Scud is destroyed, and we lost 1 missile. Let's see if we keep the other one. So it can't kill, but maybe we can keep it. All right, so we rolled an 8. We will get to take that one back to fire another day. So if we get into trouble, Freak is still on the scene and able to do something about it. So let's go ahead and move Freak his 1, and let's put him here. That way, if we have problems getting rid of this scud, Freak is a helicopter. He can kind of hover right here and shoot at this thing on the way out. So that might be what we want to do. All right, so those are my guys done. We're going to advance the loiter counter again. And we're going to not draw, so we're back to the draw pop-up counters phase. However, we are not yet going to draw any pop-up counters because my guys are still low altitude. And thank goodness for that, because if they were, we'd have a bunch of enemies coming on the board. We're about to have that happen next turn, and everybody needs to get out of dodge so they don't get shot. All right, so let's do an enemy cover roll and see what happens with that. All right, so we rolled a 5. So anybody with destroyed units in Hex is going to run for cover. So this scud can't run. This one will, which is unfortunate because it means that we need to get into the same Hex as it in order to destroy it. So we'll see if that actually works out or not. But this guy's got nowhere to hide, so haha. And this one isn't hidden. So if we can take out these two, it's enough to destroy the battalion. So I think that might be what we go for. All right, so now we have our fast pilots. It is their turn. So what's going to happen is Pirate is going to adjust his altitude. We're going to pop up into the air. And the reason we're going to do that is because now we can move over these ridges. So Pirate is actually going to go ahead and move. And then he is going to attack the scud. So I think... let's go ahead. So we are not in the same hex, so we can't throw our bomb. So let's go ahead and just try to hit this, let's say with both of our LAU 61s. We're going to go for it because even if we lose them, it's bringing some progress. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to fire both of these missiles at the scud to try to make sure that it hits. So with Pirate's modifiers, we need to get a 3 to hit and a 6 to keep. So missile number 1 is a 7. Lovely. It hits. We keep it. That's excellent. And then let's see what happens with missile number 2. Nothing. That would have been a complete failure, so we just totally lost it, but it's okay because the scud is already gone. All right, so Pirate did his move, and he can actually move a second space because he has the option to move 1 or 2. And in this game, you're able to move, attack, and move as long as you only attack the one time from where you're at. So he's going to come his second move. So let's put Pirate up at the edge of this hex. All right, so now it's time for enemy attacks, but there won't be any because we knocked out the infantry. That was a good set of choices right there. All right, so now we're going to be on our slow pilots. All right, so now it's Freak's turn. The problem is that Freak can't really shoot anybody. He's scheduled to move into this hex, but he can't fire at that enemy because it's in cover. So that's rough. I have to decide if I want Freak to just hover for another turn, which we could do. I mean, I'm not running out of time or anything. So that could be done. Or I can just run him off the board and decide that he's finished and try to let Pirate take care of it. Because Pirate does have enough weaponry left to make it happen. So, because that scud is not coming out of cover. All right, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and just let Freak off the board. He's going to go. He's going to go home. Especially because there's going to be some pop-up counters coming, and I'd like to lower potential damage to him. So let's just let the guys in the field handle it. And now it's Judge's turn. So Judge is going to go up in altitude, so he's going to be high altitude as well, so that he can come over this ridge. And Judge is going to hover. He's going to hover. What I'm thinking is I'm going to go ahead and fire this LAU at the scud now. And if it doesn't work, I'm going to spend at least one more turn trying to get it with my cannons. So I do have a cannon that I have to roll 7 for a hit. But it's worth trying, I think, just to try to make sure that we actually destroy this battalion. All right, so Judge is going to hover. So that's why he's in the middle. And he's going to fire that last LAU here at the scud. Let's see what he gets. A 2. Oh, that was really unfortunate. So Judge doesn't even have a modifier. That LAU is just gone. No. Okay. So Judge is going to see if he can stay here with his cannons. We better hope Pirate can get this guy. Oh, okay. So we're going to advance our loiter counter. Got 5 turns to get out of dodge. So our good friend Pirate and our good friend Judge are both at high altitude. So that means that we're going to have to draw some pop-up enemy counters. That is a dangerous prospect, my friends. So let's grab a couple pop-ups, see what we get. All right, so our first pop-up is going to be an infantry, but this one does heavy damage and has a range of 2, so it's meaner than the ones that were already on the board. Let's roll a die and see where it'll be. All right, so it's going to come onto Hex 6, which actually isn't too bad because, well, it can hit Pirate this time. But, you know, we're kind of moving away from it right now, so it could be a lot worse. So let's see what our other pop-up's going to be. Haha, no enemy. Perfect, perfect, perfect. Okay, so we are going to get a little bit beat up by this infantry, but it could be so much worse. All right, so our pop-up counters are drawn. Time for enemy cover roll. All right, a 7, 1 random hex. Let's see what we get. Hex number 3. Well, there isn't anybody alive in hex number 3, so nothing happened with that. Now it's fast pilots get to go, which is good because Pirate is fast and he's going to drop altitude so that he gets out of this infantry's line of sight, and he's going to move 1 into this hex because he needs to be in here to try to hit the Scud. So we're just going to go all out on this thing. We're going to just throw everything at it. Let's go. All right, so let's go ahead and try for the bomb first. I have to get a 6 or better. Well, it's a 5. The good news is that Pirate does have a +1 to cannon strike, so that should take this out. Hooray! And then let's fire the LAU as well, just to see if we get to keep it or not for fun. And we would have kept it. Excellent. So Pirate has done his thing. All right, so since Pirate only moved 1 and he does have a movement of 2, let's go ahead and get him off the map. Excellent. All right, so on the next turn, Pirate will be gone. And on this turn, Freak and Judge are going to try to get out of dodge. All right, so now we're going to go to enemy attacks. Fortunately for us, the infantry, which has a range of 2, can't actually get at anyone. It ended up in a hex that had a lot of line of sight issues, and Pirate got out of the way. So that worked out fine. Now we're on slow pilots, so Freak is just going to leave. He goes home, and then Judge is still here with this Scud. Let's go ahead and just see if I can get it with my cannons, because I don't have any weapons left. Judge's aircraft does come equipped with a cannon, but I need to roll a 7 or higher for a hit. Oh, and I rolled an 8. That actually worked out awesome. Perfect. Okay, so the Scud is destroyed. This is a really successful run. And then Judge, for his movement, oh, by the way, I meant to drop to low altitude. It doesn't really matter at this point. He's going to come to the edge of the hex to leave. So then, you know, we would go through the whole turn again, but there's no one to really attack. There's not going to be pop-ups. So let's just fast forward. Pirate goes off the board. Judge goes off the board. That would have taken us down. So we'd have gone down a loiter. They would have gone off the board, and that's where it ends. Yep. All right, so that was a very successful run for this mission. I'm actually surprised. I think that one thing I've done better in my past few games is being willing to double up on missiles, which does help, and also being smarter about the missiles that I choose. Like, it's worth it to pick the higher weight ones that you might be able to keep, especially if you've got somebody with a good modifier. All right, so let's do a walkthrough of the homebound phase. So we're going to look at another mission event really quick. Homebound mission event. Actually, first we're going to adjust battalion strength counter. So 1S is no more. I should have taken the scout back a while ago, but that's fine. So this one is gone. So we have destroyed that battalion. Fantastic. And yes, now we're going to do a homebound mission event. No, so we get an SA-7 attack. Inflict 1 light hit on a random aircraft. Okay, so we didn't get home totally clear. All right, so let's do it, randomize it this way. So Pirate's plane will get damage on a 1 to 3, Judge's helicopter on a 4 to 6, and Freak's on a 6 to 9, 10 hour reroll. All right, so it was a 9. That means that Freak is going to take 1 light damage. So let's take care of that really quick. All right, so what are we going to get? Okay, so that's not so hot. We get some engine damage for Freak. So what that's going to mean is that his plane is going to be looking a little bit worse for wear. We could keep flying on it, or we can choose to repair it. I would decide that on my next day of the game. All right, we don't need to do a bingo field check. Nobody went to bingo. Crash pilot SAR check, so we don't have to do search and rescue. We do need to record pilot stress, so let me walk you through that. So as we know, Judge took on 2 stress from one of his hits during the actual gameplay of the mission. Also, all pilots are going to take on 2 stress because they attacked a battalion that was in the enemy transit band, so it automatically adds 2. So the way that's going to work is that Pirate is just going to have straight up 2 stress. He doesn't have any cool, So what that means is that, so a pilot's cool reduces the stress they take, but Pirate's just too hardcore for that. He's very type A. So he just takes the 2 stress, and that's where he's at. He's currently okay, but if he gets more than 4 stress, he will be considered shaken. And if he crosses that 5 to 6 threshold, then he's unfit to fly. So we got to make sure he's okay. Judge, who did take those 2 stress, also, however, has 2 cool. So normally he would be at 4 stress if he were anybody else, but because he has 2 cool, the 4 total stress he took for the mission, 1 for the hit, 1 because it was in the enemy transit band, is reduced by 2. So he's at 2 stress. And then our buddy Freak would also have taken 2 stress from the ride out to the enemy transit band, but he has 1 cool, so that puts him at 1 stress. So my pilots are getting a little bit stressed out, but so far they are still more or less okay. All right, so now it's time to record pilot experience. So as with last time, pilots get 1 experience just for flying the mission. They get 1 for destroying the battalion, and they get a 3rd if they destroyed every unit in the battalion, which actually did happen this time. So Pirate's gonna get 3 experience, and Judge will also get 3, and Freak will get 3. So that's really, really good. However, I am also going to note here that Pirate is at 2 stress, that Judge is at 2 stress, and that Freak is at 1. So that way I'll know when I continue this campaign on another day. Now we get to record our VPs. So this artillery unit was worth a whopping 6 VPs, which is fantastic. So we'll get our daily SO points in a moment, but we're not there yet. So we're going to record our VPs. Our target status is destroyed. We're going to get 6 VPs for that, and we haven't lost any. Although you can spend VPs to do things like replace pilots. So, you know, having VP, it's both something to have for your score, and it's a resource to use in the game, depending on how things are going for you. All right, so we've recorded our VPs. So it's the end of the day. We have what's called no-fly stress recovery. So basically, pilots can recover some stress if they don't fly that day. So this is day 1. We didn't have that. Gain special option points. So every day, we're going to gain some special option points, our daily SO points, according to the Surge card that tells us what our daily points are. It's going to be 6. So we're going to get 6 points back. And then we're going to move enemy battalions. So what that would normally mean is that we would roll to see which battalions move forward as they advance towards our airbase. However, because of the Iraq setup, we have do not roll for battalion movement on the first day. So they won't actually roll. Then we lose special option points if we're going to lose them. So it's a very good thing that we destroyed this artillery unit, because if we hadn't, we would lose 2 SO points at the end of each day. So some of the battalions have special conditions that make you lose things. We got lucky this time. And then replacements, repair aircraft, priority R&R, and advanced day counter. So basically what will happen is if I wanted to, I could spend some of my special option points to repair my aircraft. For example, the engine damage that Freak just suffered, I could deal with during this time. And then otherwise, if I decided not to do anything about engine damage, I could just record that there's engine damage right here on the log sheet. So that is a sample day in Thunderbolt-Apache Leader. I wanted to make sure you saw 2 missions, 1 full day, so you can get a sense of the turn structure and how the game works. I really enjoyed this one, even though I know basically nothing about modern military history or close air support. So even though I am no expert on the subject of the game, I really love the campaign setup. I think it's a really fun way to play a game. I love keeping track of my pilots and trying to give them the best care and help them level up and, you know, outfit the planes with the best weapons and all of that stuff. So for me, it's a really enjoyable solo game. If you are willing to do a log sheet, I think it might be good for you too. Also, if you liked these playthroughs, please do like and subscribe to my channel. It means a lot to me when you do, and happy gaming.